Hello there Scapers, my name is Xanavilis and today is the day before the release of the Magister Slayer boss, something I'm very excited about and something that I've had the pleasure of preparing well for, which can't always be said about me ahead of the release of a big boss, especially a solo boss which requires me not to leech and requires me to actually do everything for myself instead of my team carrying me. So, to begin this video, I'm going to show you the money I've gained and the money I've invested into the various things that need to be obtained before we can fight this boss. I'll talk about the boss later on, but firstly, as you see in the background, I have been gathering quite a few spider leg pieces, tops, bottoms and middles. I had 3 of each and 2 extra middles, and I had plenty of eyes, 1 fang and 1 web. So what I decided to do was that the time was now right to be selling these weapons because a lot of people were buying them ahead of the release of the Magister boss in order to be well equipped, I suppose, to take him down. Anyway, I would have sold them regardless because I usually carry very little cash because all my money is usually locked up in some massive investment, which yes, I'm going to release that video soon, guys. It's just a matter of time. I need to collect all those thousands of different flips that I've screenshotted and work out the calculations required and so on and so forth. So don't worry, there's plenty of episodes of that series coming back up, and I think I might actually be close to finishing that series. But anyway, back on track. So I sold all 3 of those. The side sold for 271 mil, the bow and the staff sold for 142 mil each, so that's a total of 555 mil from all those. I've hardly ever had so much cash on me at any given point in time, so that was a pleasant surprise. But then that was gone pretty quickly as well, as I was buying the keys and the kopeshes in order to firstly be prepared to enter Magister several times, because as you all know, I probably will die the first 10 attempts at least before I get to grips with this boss. So you use up 1 key per attempt at this boss, the same as Legios, whether or not you're successful. And the kopeshes were, well, an attempt to try and flip them. I'm assuming their price will go up as people try and buy them off because of the way the boss works. So, as you see me getting my first ever corrupted creature task and forgetting to prefer it, and then going ahead and doing it and getting incredibly lucky, I'm going to talk you through how exactly you should expect this boss to work, depending on whether or not Jagex's information has been right. And they haven't released a lot of information about this boss, funnily enough. They've been delaying it quite a bit. I think they've delayed it for 2 weeks now, and it's going to release tomorrow on the 3rd of July. And there's very little visual information about this boss, just literally information. So it's going to be a Slayer boss, like Legions. It's going to require 115 Slayer to kill, or 109 with the Wilder Pie, which gives a +6 boost for 6 minutes flat. It won't go down under 6 minutes. Thankfully, I'm 117 Slayer, which is exactly the level needed to complete the Slayer Codex. So I'm all set for this boss. It counts as a Soul Devourer for Soul Devourer tasks, but the Slayer helmet doesn't apply the boost, which is a big shame, but oh well. And apparently the average kill length is going to be around 2.5 to 3 minutes for average people, but top-end players, i.e. not me, probably all of you guys watching, can bring this down to about 1.5 minutes, which basically means it's gonna be very easy to kill once you figure out how it works. And obviously you're going to need 1 kill for comp. He might drop some lore books for Master Questscape, and he's going to drop the items required to make the tier 92 melee dual wield weapons. We've had the mage one, we don't have the range one yet, but we will have the melee one tomorrow. The Kopesh of the Tumican and the Elidinis. I probably butchered that, but oh well. The Tumican is the main hand and the Elidinis is the offhand. Basically, like Telos, your dormant is the normal Kopesh, the tier 82 that you get from corrupted creatures in Sophanem Slayer dungeon, and you drop scraps of the scriptures that he drops. 3 of those scraps can be made into 3 different scriptures: the blessing of the sun, the sea and the sky, and all 3 need to be added to 1 Kopesh, either main hand or offhand, to make a tier 92. So we're going to have tier 92 melee weapons in the game. Not too sure how useful they're going to be, how used they're going to be, given the superiority of two-handed melee abilities to dual-wield abilities. But having said that, the Xaros Godsword isn't a scythe, so it doesn't have the range of the Noxus side. So the Noxus side is still preferred by many people in most situations. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these tier 92 dual wield melee weapons. It won't be dieable on release, which is kind of expected really. And hopefully he will drop a ton of the common items you get from the corrupted creatures and the soul devourers in the dungeon itself in large quantities, such as Vital Spark and other drops which I can't remember. So what Jagex have said here is that similar to Legions, the normal drops won't compensate for the cost of the key, at least not right now, where the keys are about 1.5 mil each. They've gone down massively since release when they were about 4 mil. But once you get those scriptures and you're able to make a full tier 92, then obviously when you sell that off, you'll make back all your money and then some from the keys that you use and the supplies that you use to kill the boss. Unfortunately, the lore books that he's going to drop, which is a Master Quest Gate requirement, are not 100% guaranteed drop, but they have thresholds which they haven't revealed yet. But having said that, they can also be dropped from Slayer mobs in the Corrupted Dungeon itself, which is good. As for the mechanics of the boss, it's looking very sketchy right now, but you can be sure that you only get one attempt per key, same as Legions. The Feathers of Mart are not required, but will be useful to have during the fight, whatever that means. Assume you should probably take them. He will use a soul obelisk in the fight itself, which will target a player and drain the player's HP level. So you have to decide between DPSing Magister and fighting the soul obelisk, because a lower constitution level and lower total HP means your food heals you for less. So that should be interesting. I'm assuming once people get to grips with this boss, they'll just go ahead and kill it as fast as possible, ignoring the soul obelisk, but you never know. Another interesting thing that I'm not sure of, if you guys know, please let me know, is whether the soul obelisks will still spawn around Menaphos for the 20k rep a day, or will they disappear tomorrow? That's a big question, because they were my one guaranteed source of rep to get to tier 10 rep in all 4 factions before the amnesty period runs out and I lose my Trim Comp Cape. So that's something we should try and figure out whether it's happening or not. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this overview of the Magister boss. Obviously it's going to drop a boss pet, so that'll be another boss pet to get for Insane Final Boss. Not sure what the thresholds are going to be. I'm sure they'll release that soon as well. There are going to be quite a few other updates in July, such as the much awaited increase in the catch rate of souls from higher level Slayer mobs, such as Gemstone Dragons, Ripper Demons and so on. Because right now, I'm not sure whether this is intended, but the drop rate of souls from higher level mobs is much lower than the drop rate of souls from lower level mobs, which is really counterintuitive, but there you go, that's Jagex. So hopefully they'll change that next month, sometime soon hopefully. And there are also several other items on the July BTS. I will link the TLDW below for those of you interested. Note also that tomorrow's the last day, or today's the last day, if you want to get early bird RuneFest tickets to RuneFest 2017 on the 16th of September, if I got that right. I think I got that right. So make sure you get that before then if you want to save some money and you're definitely sure that you want to go. As for me, I'm not sure yet, guys. I'm not sure. I will let you know later. But back on topic, I got extremely lucky on my first task. I was under the impression that these keys were really rare. They were like 1 in 80 drop rate, 1 in 79, 1 in 80, but I got like 5 in my first task of 240, which was pretty incredible. And the funny thing is, I didn't get a single soul out of the 6 different corrupted creature souls I need to collect for my Slayer Codex until just after I finished my first Slayer task. So that was quite funny. So I got 5 more corrupted souls to get. I don't know how many more Axe souls I need to get, or Soul Devourer souls I need to get, but there's plenty of work still to be done on this. So expect a lot of videos in the near future regarding Menaphos, the Merching series, Road to 1 build from the G, and of course regarding the Magister boss. I will be there tomorrow. I'll be there on day of release. Hopefully I'll be lucky like Dovadas, or a friend, was on the release of Araxel, where he got all 3 leg pieces within the space of 6 kills. If I get anywhere near as lucky as he did tomorrow, I will be a very grateful man. So yeah, plenty of things to be getting on with. I'm looking forward to that for sure. I've also invested a bit more apart from what you've seen. So I've invested in a Barris die ahead of when they make tier 92s dieable. so hopefully the price of that goes up. That's just a hope, and I'm not able to buy it right now. I've also invested in a few other things I can't really explain because I want to keep it a secret for my merching series. I had a Noxbow kicking around in my bank, so I sold that and invested some money in my alts on these undisclosed items, so hopefully those turn out well, and if they don't, well, rip my bank. And that basically rounds up the video. I hope you guys have fun tomorrow, and for those of you without 109 Slayer, make sure you do as much Slayer as possible between today and tomorrow in order to try and get yourself up to that 109. And make sure you stock up on Wilder Pies as well, because you do not want to be missing this boss. It's going to be epic. Actually, I'm not sure if it's going to be epic, but it's definitely going to be interesting, given how easy it's been labelled by Jagex. And it's the first of its kind since Legions were released exactly 4 years ago. Well, 1 month and 4 years ago, in June 2013. So that is all I have to say. Make sure you check out the description if you're interested in more information. I'm going to go back to some Slayer and some more Slayer Codex filling, if you like. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll stream, but I'll definitely make a video on the Magister.